We finally reached the end of what could go down as one of the most grueling seasons in the history of the sport. In 16 rounds, we managed to already lose 30 different riders across the 3 classes that have scored SMX points in the last 2 years, as well as countless privateers that unfortunately will get no press regarding their untimely injuries. I am Donnie. This injury update is brought to you by O'Neill, and I have updates on Eli Tomac, Justin Barcia, and Cooper Webb, and more. But first, let's start with the good news, guys, that we have coming back, because we do have a few guys returning to the series to race the Salt Lake finale, and the big one, of course, is Aaron Plessinger. The Red Bull KTM rider has gone from the highest of highs, leading 18 minutes of a main he was sure to win in Indy, to throwing it away, to then getting injured in a practice crash at the 14th round in New Jersey. AP7 has been adamant to let the team let him ride since Nashville, but with the entire KTM group down, I don't blame the Orange Brigade for wanting to make sure he is closer to 100% before throwing him out to the wolves. It appears that his injuries were superficial with no bone breaks or tendon tears, just a lot of painful bruising and swelling, and with the majority of the top of the class missing, I think AP could have another run at a podium this weekend in Salt Lake. Also returning this weekend is privateer hero Alex Ray. The 140 sustained a broken finger in a gentle enough looking overjump in Detroit and has not been able to race since. Alex was hoping to be back for his home race in Nashville, but that was not meant to be. Instead, A-Ray will line up for the finale in SLC amongst a depleted field looking to make what could very well be the final main event of his career, as the Jackson, Tennessee native has been very open that this season is likely to be his last as a professional dirt bike racer. Eli Tomac dominated the headlines in Denver, but lost in that shuffle was Colt Nichols, who also had a very scary get-off in Colorado that left him finishing just 1 spot above the number 1. He is admittedly pretty banged up, but it looks like he is good to mount the red machine this weekend and get a proper send-off as his Supercross-only Honda deal wraps up in Salt Lake. Speaking of Eli Tomac, I'm not going to spend too much time on him, as I'm sure anyone taking the time to watch this video already knows the extent of his injury, but in case you don't follow all the social media things very hard, he did post a video update to Instagram detailing the surgery he underwent to repair his ruptured Achilles and to update his future. To paraphrase greatly, Eli's 2023 campaign is done, and although many were hoping to see him back at the SMX rounds this fall, that is far-fetched to say the least. It is no secret that Eli was planning for this to be his final year in the sport, but sources have said that he was considering returning for 2024. But per Eli, we should expect an announcement about his future at some point this summer. Justin Barcia suffers a slew of breaks in Nashville, including a broken collarbone, 2 broken ribs, and a broken shoulder. He was able to have surgery on his collarbone last week, but the ribs and shoulder should heal up on their own. Bam Bam posted an update Thursday showing that he has a good range of motion on his left side after his surgery was successful on that collarbone, but he is still nursing his right shoulder, which was the one that suffered a break. No plans to be on the motorcycle anytime soon, but he is optimistic to get back to other forms of training quickly. Big Rig Benny Bloss also suffered a broken collarbone in Nashville and rushed to get surgery to repair the same weekend in hopes to be ready for the beginning of outdoors, but unfortunately that looks out of the question now. Benny will stay off the bike for a few weeks to let it heal properly and should join the outdoor series a few rounds in. I would not be surprised if we see him after the week off when he races in Redbud. Cooper Webb has put a timetable on his return of 6 to 8 weeks before he can get back on the bike, which would be mid-June at the earliest. Rumors have swirled that Coop might follow Kenny to World Supercross in lieu of racing the outdoor season, and honestly, this timetable lines up perfectly for that, with the series kicking off in Birmingham for the British GP on July 1st. I got word from Mike Bonacci at Club MX that Phil Nicoletti is back on the bike, but nowhere near where he wants to be. The team did not expect him to be back on the bike so quickly, but he was riding twice this week and his recovery is way ahead of schedule. No timetable to return, but depending on how weak the class is, entering outdoors, we could see him racing sooner rather than later. Star Racing Yamaha's Nick Romano gave an update this week after suffering a torn ACL, preparing for his East debut, saying, quote, 3 months post-op, I was able to see my doctor for a checkup and everything is going really well with my knee. Every day is an improvement and we are hoping to be back on the bike within the next few months. I will keep y'all updated for any racing this season, but if not, I'm going to be ready for whatever is next. His teammate Nate Thrasher also updated this week saying, Finally had surgery on my ACL this morning. Everything went better than expected and happy to finally have that repaired and on the road to recovery. My hip is improving every day, but still have a few weeks until I can put weight on it. One last surgery on my collarbone tomorrow, then we are done. A couple guys that are healed up and simply waiting for outdoors, including Michael Mosman, who's been missing since Daytona for his undisclosed reasons after a main event crash. Dylan Fernandez has been back on the bike for a few weeks and is aiming to be 100% for the first outdoor gate drop at Pala. Garrett Marchbanks has been ready to race for weeks, but the team decided to forego the remaining rounds to get him in tip-top shape for outdoors. And although nothing has been said of Marvin Musquin's return, as it is believed that he only had a Supercross-only contract with Red Bull KTM, with so many injuries and the rumors of Webb jumping ship to WSX, it is possible we see him back on that team this summer. No footage of him actually riding, but he did post a cryptic photo of a two-stroke KTM with his numbers on it, so maybe it's possible he's back to riding. Stay tuned. Thank you as always for watching RotoMoto. My name is Donnie. Keep it pinned to the weekend.